So team, welcome today. This is our follow-up workshop. This means all hands on deck. We want you participating. I will reach out when I need to. It looks like Lace is showing us a little tongue-in-cheek sense of humor she's got there. Lace has got a lot of stress she's managing there in Yosemite, so she breaks it out with some humor every now and then. No worries, you're covered here. So today is actually going to be a great workshop. I'm really, really looking forward to this, and I know it's going to bring additional value. And I want to first thank all of you for sending in your rating sheets. That was really, really helpful. Very good. Some incredible information. If there's time permitting on the call, this is a 45-minute call, so we have to roll on this. If there's time permits, I will share just some of the sharing if I know that we have time for it. But really what I want to do is sink into this and really bring some value. First thing we want to talk about is a really quick review of our last webcast. Okay? And the main objective is to develop a winning culture. At the end of the day, what this is all about is us developing a winning culture. And all the things we design here are with that intention to make that happen. So, question, when you hear develop a winning culture, what does that mean to you? When you hear we're looking to develop a winning culture, Nancy, if you will, tell me what that means for you. I'm going to unmute you, Nancy, so that you can speak. When you hear me say that, what does that mean to you?
I think each site has a different culture. We all share some of the same things, but individually, the culture of the staff, the guests, the operations, it's a win-win for everybody.
Sure.
So we might be a little bit different from, say, Yosemite, but the basics are still there.
Exactly. So what are the basics to you, Nancy? When you hear, what are the basics and the fundamentals of a winning culture for you?
Well, in our business, it's making the customers, giving them a great product, giving the staff a great workplace, and enjoying nature, because we are definitely into nature and building a better earth with our bees. All great.
Right. Those are some really good, solid fundamentals. Hello to Yael. Hello to Gladys. Hello to Kate. You guys just joined in. Hello to Lace out there. We're going to make this happen, team. This is going to be a very fast 45 minutes. And Gladys, it's good to see you on the call. It's the first time we've seen you on a webcast, so welcome aboard. Good to have you. All right, I'm gonna keep it going. So we're talking about developing a winning culture and what those main ingredients are and what those fundamentals are. So the tools to do this, really, at the end of the day, will be our chief focus. And the first thing we want to talk about is communication. That's what we started on our last webcast. This workshop is to let us dig a little deeper on that and bring some more magic to it and bring some more tools, systems, and processes for you to bite off. So this epic communication is complete and consistent communication. And we really had some wonderful things happen in the last call. The other thing
Jesse, can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
Can everybody put I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing. Can everybody put their speaker on mute?
Very good call. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ian. Yeah, so if you'll mute and then just unmute when I go to bring you into the call or when you have something you want to say. Yeah, I hear a radio or something in the back. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's a TV. Yeah, try scroll. And then you scroll on the screen.
Is that much better?
Much better.
Outstanding. Good stuff. Okay. Then I'm going to repeat that. So we're talking about three major objectives. The epic communication, that is complete and consistent communication. That's one of the things we talked about. And then we talked about inspiring and motivating both ourselves and our teams to make this happen, to create that whole objective of a winning culture. And then the other thing that we talked about is getting feedback timely. And quite frankly, it was brilliant on the call what Kate offered for us, because she had a very difficult matter in terms of communicating with a guest that was really, at the end of the day, nearly an impossible dynamic, and how to manage that So that brought a great deal of energy to the call, and a lot of your feedback and on the ratings talked about the quality of that. I want to be careful, because I also got some feedback that we want to be careful not to do too much coaching in our training process, but we're going to do whatever we believe is going to serve the team to a degree, but be very mindful of that, because whoever made that comment, I respect that, and that's a good thought, because really this has landed to be a training piece for all of us. And that's another reason why I offered the sidebar for Kate, which she gladly accepted, and we're going to do a one-on-one with the possibility of having Amy on board we're going to drill down on some deeper, heavier role playing on handling difficult matters. So that was going to be really, really good. So with that being said, that chapter 4, the law of communication, that was a huge chapter for us, and that put us into a great space to talk about that communication piece. Yael, I want to welcome you back to the call, since you were not able to make that last call. You had some other business you had to handle. Did you get an opportunity, Yael, to review any of the notes from the last call? Because if so, we'd love to hear your voice. Hold on, I'm going to unmute you. Let's see. Okay, Yael, you're now unmuted. You should be okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Can you hear me clearly? Yes, I did, and I was not able to make the last call because I took some time off. So thank you all for letting me get out for a little bit.
Yes, you deserved it.
So a couple things. I've told some of you that in meeting Jess for the first time, I think 12 years ago or 15 years ago, however long it was, he had the biggest impression on my life as a manager after seeing a lot of these trainings and breaking it down the way you did, Jess, has been really helpful for me, and it's the one thing that's stuck with me for years since I first met you. And I'm just thrilled that we're able to now take your methods with some of the topics I think we needed to help with, and I laid out in what we did to set up these sessions. And then putting the Jesse spin on it really is helping. And so the second essential law of life, I read that 3 or 4 times years ago and reread it recently. The law of communication is something that I feel like we need to be better at all the time. It's something that we'll never, ever stop learning, and we'll never be done learning about how to communicate. I'm just happy you're here doing this. I'm thrilled that this seems to be working. And after speaking with a few of the managers prior to this call, everybody's happy with where this is going. And I'm hoping that this Zoom technology we're starting to adjust to, and it's still new. And I would like to see us a couple of things. First of all, let's try to make what we'd like to see in the future is just maybe more of an agenda base, so we know what's going to happen. That was one comment. And then the other thing too, Jess, is that when we do this, are we going to be able to take all of these sessions and cook them into a small video that we can watch later on? That's one of my questions.
Absolutely, yes. Yes and yes. And yes, I did read that review in terms of some advanced knowledge and agenda. And Julie and I and Ian and Lisa, we team up and we put that up. But what we'll do with that comment is we'll go back and make sure that we were trying to be comprehensive and make it so they didn't have so much to read and keep up on. And maybe because we might have been a little too slight. So we'll go back and take a look at that and then make sure that we provide that in advance. Yes, I know that looks very familiar.
Remember this?
That looks very.
This book is, I think, 13 years old.
Yes, yes. How you leave them feeling it just passed a few years old. That's for sure. So no, thank you for that. So we will do that, and yes, we will look at maybe a highlights reel. We may want to take some of the best of the best and condense it down to like a 3, 4, 5 minute message from all the hours of what we do. So yes, we'll take a look at that. So that's a great suggestion. Anybody else have a suggestion they want to get off before I keep rolling, or is that good? Okay, then I'm going to keep on rolling because time is of the essence of us. And so here's the thing.
Before, can I just say one more thing?
Oh, sure.
Please note that I would like everybody to really block out this time, go to a place where you can be uninterrupted. This is an investment in you.
Yes.
It's not investment in nothing. It's really about trying to get better tools, give you more thought, ways of thinking. This is all for you on this call. So try to block the time so that you're not distracted and you're in a really quiet place where you can really concentrate on what Jess is putting forward, ingest it, provide feedback, and make adjustments for the future. That's really what I'm hoping you'll do with this, because this is all for you. At the retreat, you all said we would like more development pieces. Here it is. So let's make sure we're doing that and not distracted by others. Please block the time separately. Thank you.
That's actually huge, Yael. Thanks for that. What I'll do on top of Yael's piece with that is I'll challenge you. If something either doesn't make sense or something you don't fully want to sign off on, or you have a challenge with, and you don't either have the opportunity or you don't take the opportunity in our training session, I highly welcome your feedback afterward. So you can shoot me with an email or a text message or drop a voice message, whatever makes sense for you. And let's take a little sidebar and see if I can raise that flag and raise it higher up the level. To Yael's point, let's don't just come to the training and let that be it. Let's really enroll it. So if there's something you want a little additional connection with, let's figure it out away from the training thing, and then bring those pieces back to our table and let the team know. So I like that, Yael. That's a great piece to share with us. And my added challenge is let's stay connected. It's not just in this training, because I'll make myself available somehow, some way, to take it further up the flagpole. And with that being said, our investment in developing a winning company culture today is going to kick off with exactly what you saw at the beginning of this session, which is what I call the IT factor. And that's consisting of the 5 absolute dynamics. And I'll actually share that with you, this new cultural and leadership concept, in an analogy that I call SHIP. And you'll get that. We did a little tiny bit of a brief drive-by on it with our last session, but this one we're going to get really much deeper into it. And I want it to be an experiential sharing. That's the model for the learning for all of us. And your core values are certainly no doubt tied to that. And that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to do a very, very fast, quick chapter summary of the last one, and then we're going to keep rolling. If there's any feedback or buy-in, I'll take it. If not, we're going to unveil that IT factor and the why. So number 1, as Yael spoke about the second essential law of life, the law of communication. Think about this. One of the key points of that is continuously seeking to develop your communication skills. And Yael said it right at the top of his dialogue. Sharpen your listening skills and embrace the power of words. There's something you'll hear me say often. Everything rises and falls in language. Everything rises and falls in language. And that is a big statement. We're going to back that up. Number 2, allow your experience and intuition to help you navigate through the minefields of life when it comes to communication. Do a gut check. It's never wrong. And number 3, you want to build your character through the muscle of capturing life's many lessons. Whenever you lose in life, don't lose the lesson. We want to keep those lessons, and there are going to be challenges and failures along the way, but at the end of the day, it's all about doing the best that we can to keep that culture alive and developing that winning culture both on and off the court. Number 4, make tough obstacles part of your plan by creating what we call a symbiotic relationship, a host-beneficiary relationship with something that's challenging or difficult. Find a way to make it work on all sides. There's just a few more. The 5th one is be mindful of your words and use them with yourself. That positive self-talk. Make sure you're really locked in on always updating that positive self-talk, because we can sometimes be our own worst enemies. And then 6, don't speak to impress, speak to express. It's about expressing a perspective.
Oh.
Yes, that's a big one. A lot of people get stuck on speaking to impress others or impress themselves. I never want to see you do that. It's something that I'm very, very mindful and careful of. Speak to express, not to impress. And that's a big one. So I hope you really hang on to that one really tight. And then one of my all-time favorites is tune into everyone's favorite radio station. We talked about it last time, WIIFM, What's in It for Me. So that's a quick review of the things that we really sunk our teeth in the last time. Are you guys, is there anyone out there that would like to add any value to what I just said there in terms of that whole communication as we raise the game when we add the it factor? Lace, is there something you want to add to that? I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Well, what you just said, whatever you lose in life, don't lose the lesson. Yeah, we were just talking earlier today, one of the housekeepers and I, about training the guest. We had an instance where a European person came in on an airplane. Their first campground that they got to with their Cruise America, they had somebody else with them that did not have any discount card. Well, the other campground gave them a discount for the second site, even though there wasn't any discount that was needed. So they came here expecting the same consideration.
Sure.
Yeah, and basically Petaluma just trained them that it's okay to expect rules to be broken. So for the communication aspect, you have to be very aware of everything you do because you are training everybody every time you speak to them. You see what I mean?
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
In other words, be very careful of that kind of training because now you're setting expectations that may be very difficult for us to live into.
Bingo. Yes.
All right, got it. Well said. Thank you for that. That's actually a very good one. That puts an exclamation point on the power of listening and also mindful of your words.
Yes.
So very good. With that being said, we're going to jump right into the it factor. Thank you for that, Lace. I'm going to do a screen share here, so give me a second to make that happen for you. And we'll go from there, and we'll just start this thing right off with a question for you. I'm going to share this screen here. So when you're looking at the it factor, here's the thing. What this turns out to be all about the power of relationships and raising the game on the sense of time and timing, building respect, understanding, like Lace just said, how are we setting expectation? What is the cost of that? What is the value of that? Because you can go in both directions with that. And that's what this is all about, is building the power of our relationship equity building. We want to build maximum relationship equity, and we're going to do that with the it factor. And when I say that to you, it's huge. It really breaks down to 5 absolute dynamics. And the it factor came by doing countless hours in the hospitality field and wondering, how do we separate ourselves from our competitors? How do we separate ourselves from other choices? People that are not necessarily competitors, but maybe other alternative choices that people may use in the hospitality industry. Well, we discovered that it was all in the it factor, because when you think about it, whether you are sitting where Ian is sitting, or whether you're sitting in Yosemite where Lace is sitting, at the end of the day, we know that people have choices. And with people having choices, what that means is, why should they choose you? Why should they choose us? It takes me back to my hospitality days when I was, manning a fort like you folks are all doing now. And I used to, even though I was sitting at one level of my career path, I was sitting at the Bellagio, I asked myself, why would they choose the Bellagio? Yeah, it's a great place to go, but we all have all the same stuff. And in your industry, you all have the same stuff for the most part. In other words, they had table games, and they had the entertainment, and they had the fine dining, and they had the excursions, and they had the marketing, and they had all that. Well, what do they have? What do we have here that they don't have somewhere else? And what the common denominator that I got to, team, is those other places don't have me and how I care about what I do. They don't have that. And I know because I've seen it across many different brands that I've tried. So I thought, what would be the 5 absolute dynamics that would make it powerful enough for someone to choose to come to wherever it is I'm working versus other choices? And you guys also were in that same situation. And so think of it like this. When you see an iceberg like this, it looks, so to me, this looks very majestic, very refreshing, very easy, very smooth. It's just sitting there, and you've got these snow-capped mountains in the background and this beautiful, vast array of water, and it looks effortless, but it's not. Actually, what's really happening with underneath this is this. This is what the people see at the top was that tip, and that success of floating is what we all see, but the hard work and the risk and the concern and the doubts and the challenges and the adversity and the rejections and the fear and the lack of discipline and creating good habits, none of that you see underneath the water. But all of that, team, is what's going on underneath that beautiful, epic mound that's showing above the water. And what we have to do is be that underneath the water to make that float well. Does that make sense? You get all of that? Okay, good. Thumbs up. So with that, so that's what's really happening. So as I lead into that, to this, you ever hear of a small ship called Exxon Valdez? You ever hear of that ship? Well, did this small little ship do wonderful things, or did it? Yes. It did a few things to our environment that were not good. Am I right or not? It did some things that were not good. I won't get into the long story of it, but what it did, it had this massive spill because of lack of direction, because of lack of continuity, because of lack of flow, because they didn't build a winning culture. Because the captain of that ship, unlike the captain of our ships, they have our best interests in mind, both the customers we serve and us serving those customers. And this thing ran aground, and the millions of crew that just destroyed so much of our nature was due to the things that they weren't doing. So with that being said, I'm going to open this up before I go down any further. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to open this up and get a little feedback from you. And I want to hear your thoughts before I get into the jewels of this. So let me see. Amy, thank you for volunteering. You're so beautiful for that. I'm going to unmute you. You're just so beautiful for that. Thank you. So share with me, Amy, if you will, please, from that story. What I'm looking for is what moves you from that story about the Exxon Valdez, very short clip.
If I'm not a strong leader, I'm going to kill the environment.
Right, fair enough.
You have to be a strong leader in order to make things run smoothly.
So you need to be a strong leader to do what? Say it again.
To make things run smoothly.
I love it. All right. Very good. Kate, go ahead and get behind that.
Okay. Well, we make the difference. If he had been engaged in taking care of business, then this wouldn't have happened. So he had control there, and he didn't do anything with it.
Okay. He had the control, and he didn't know how to manage it. Fair enough. Now, Nancy, you were really, really superb last time we had a conversation. You brought in some incredible things that helped along with what Kate was up to. And also, in fact, it was you that helped me offer the impossible dynamic. So share your thoughts about that Exxon Valdez and why all of that, what could have prevented that?
Well, it's kind of what we're doing here. We're getting more involvement from the staff. It's not being a director of all things, but being a leader of all people. So it's also about getting your staff engaged so that they help you see the obstacles in the way too.
Okay, now wait a minute. I need everybody to take this position here, please. Take this position, and then just put a little sound with it. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's for Nancy. She said this is about being a director and a leader of all people. Right now, I have the challenge of leading leaders. I'm leading leaders in a world of shifting priorities. You guys then have to go out there and lead them. So Nancy was spot on. That's exactly what was missing. The leadership was missing. We live in a world of shifting priorities. We've got to lead with the power of intention. Does that make sense? And when you have the it factor, when you get this it factor down, you've got an opportunity to set yourself apart as leaders. And even people that are not in your industry, they will feel you, they will hear you, they will see you, even when you're not directing your energy at them. Do you get that? Give me a thumbs up if you get that. Outstanding. All right, so I'm going to go back to the screen share. Give me one moment, because that was some excellent feedback, and I'm going to pop this in, and we're going to keep moving from here. And Nancy, that was, all of the sharing is good, but that one right there was top of the house for us, and that's huge. So now let's roll into something that really breaks down to these 5 dynamics. I see the RVC destination ship as something with a great deal more power, a great deal more grace, a great deal more intention. And can you not see the difference between our RVC destination ship and that Exxon Valdez? This is what we're building. And it looks like this. It comes in, the first piece of that 5 absolute dynamic is this: shifting priority perspective. Write this down, if you will: shifting priority perspective. And what that means is, we're not going to sit around and moan and groan about what we did not get done. We're not going to spend a lot of energy on the callbacks that we didn't make and the emails that we're not caught up on. We're going to realize that we live in a world of shifting priorities, and we're going to examine and take a quick stand down to decide how we're going to use this next block of time. And when you live in the world of shifting priorities, you give yourself an opportunity to do what matters most consistently. I'm going to say that again. You give yourself an opportunity to do what matters most consistently. And when you live this shifting priority perspective, we want to hand this down to our team, because we want our team to be in sync and in rhythm with that. Things will come up that'll change, that'll happen, that are going to shift the perspective and shift the priority, and we're going to have to do something different that wasn't on our agenda. And we're going to not just do it to get it done, we're going to be fine with that. One of the best things I can offer you, team, as a leadership perspective, both individual and as a collective, is get really, really comfortable. Get really, really good with solving problems. Because when you solve 2 or 3 problems, 1 or 2 replace them. When you solve 1 or 2 problems, 2 or 3 replace them. And it is a constant, never-ending cycle of solving problems. Let's get good at it. Let's use shifting priority perspective as a perspective. How you leave them feeling, the concept, the book itself, that is an incredible absolute dynamic. Someone that has a how you leave them feeling perspective about how they show up in the world means they're not just thinking about what they want and what they need. They're also thinking about how to deliver and help you get what you want and what you need. It comes from raising the game from the golden rule to the platinum rule. The golden rule, most of us were taught, is to treat others how we want to be treated. But the challenge with that rule is, what if you're a little bit goofy and they're not? Should you still treat them goofy? I don't think so. The platinum rule says, let's treat others how they want to be treated, and they will tell you. People tell us how they want to be treated all the time. They tell us that because it's in their body language. It's in what they say and what they don't say. It's in their, whether they show up or they don't show up. What is their integrity? Do they do what they say they're going to do, or they're always elusive? People are always showing us that. So let's treat people how they want to be treated. Now, that doesn't mean that you treat people poorly or bad if they're behaving or acting that way. That means that you find ways to navigate through those minefields like we talked about before in terms of the communication process, and then get in and get out. So the how you leave them feeling concept, quite frankly, is the platinum rule. Treat others how they want to be treated. And you own that as one of your dynamics. That is awesome. The third one of our 5 would be the absolute, that would be the integrity. Do what you say you're going to do, and then say what you're going to do. And what that means is simply that. Raise the level of your integrity and make this part of your signature. That people come to know you for that signature, and they know that they can count on Amy, that they can count on Nancy, that they can count on Yale or Ian or Julie. They know they can count on you because you do what you say you're going to do. And if that doesn't happen, they know that there's a glitch somewhere, and it's probably not in your camp. So that is an incredible centerpiece, is as we spell out SHIP, SHIPP, spelled differently in terms of our 5 absolute dynamics and the it factor. The next one is powerful sense of urgency. You don't have to be contentious. You don't have to be overly scratchy or negative or abrasive, but own that powerful sense of urgency where you have a dynamic that says you get stuff done consistently, and let that be part of your signature. Then we round it out with the power of presence. And the power of presence, that's what the French call the je ne sais quoi. And that je ne sais quoi is when I have no words for that. When you have such a being and such an energy level that people don't know how to explain it, and it's a new phenomena. That power of presence is when you show up, you can change the climate of a room just because you're in it. Not based on ego, based on the energy of which you're resonating. So these 5 dynamics, absolute dynamics I call them, represent the it factor. Shifting priority perspective, how you leave them feeling concept, integrity, powerful sense of urgency, and power of presence. So when I say all that, I say this to you, team, the it factor, you are 100% responsible for owning this. And that is truly on you. So what I want to do now is I want to open up for freelance collaboration on what you just learned. I want to just get a sense of what that looks like for you. So I'm going to stop my share here on the screen share. I'm going to come back to the open window into our unit here. And I want to hear from some of the folks out there. So who wants to volunteer first for me? Jacob, you're so special. Thank you for that. Thanks for raising your hand. Let me unmute you, Jacob. I didn't expect for you to do that. That was good. All right, Jacob, what'd you hear? What did you hear?
The one thing that stuck out to me, how you leave feeling, being a manager, my pops always said that you had to put different hats on.
Yes.
And you know, depending on who it is, if you're talking with an employee, you're talking with a guest, you're talking with a subcontractor, all those people have different personalities that you need to learn in order to communicate effectively with them and to, you know, create a good relationship.
Well said. That's good. That's true. I like that. So we're talking about what you gain, what you glean from this thing, and you can also even have a question. You may not have where it was a big it factor for you where you got it, but you may have a question of how to navigate that. So that's part of it. So this is open forum, and it looks like Ian is trying to speak up. Go ahead, Ian. You guys are just so quick to jump in there. I love this.
Well, actually, I just have something to take away on the shifting priority perspective is there's days where we all experience this where we just walk into the office or something happens and then that just starts a snowball effect for the rest of the day. And Jesse, you were mentioning that we shouldn't feel bad about not getting around to an email or not getting around to particular things. If you have a powerful sense of urgency, if you carry that, then people know that you're going to get around to it and trust that you're going to complete it. And there's days where, you know, it starts off with a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I know that it's just going to be one of those days. So I push my task list aside and I just kind of let things happen because I got to shift my priority perspective. Exactly.
And that's that's really good, Ian. And that is going to happen sometimes in your control, most of the times outside of your control. You're not in control of. It's not right. Things happen that you need to respond to and step up to that you were not looking to have happen, especially, and a lot of times the timing of it feels like almost the worst because of what you have on your plate. But you know what? It's the best time. It's an opportunity time is what it is. So let me ask you, I think it's Kathy. Are you sitting in for Jake up there, Kathy?
I'm just with Jake. He's in the other room.
Okay, fair enough. Can you add some value to what we just talked about on our SHIP theory, our it factor?
Well, not really. It's my first time, so.
That's okay. That's okay. We can connect with you after class. You just hang in there and keep listening. That'll work for now. Renee, tell me your thoughts when you've heard this SHIP theory. this it factor, what resonated with you? What runs through your mind about how you can use this?
Mostly it's that you've got to tie it all together. We do shift constantly, but when you are shifting, you also have to have people understand that your sense of urgency changes with it. So this project might be urgent, but that project might be urgent. You've got to be able to walk through the minefields like we discussed last session and put it together in a calm way to get to the other side and complete what we need to do.
That's
Whether
true.
it's shifting the way we want or not the way we want, you still got to be able to work your way through it and come to a satisfying conclusion.
That's well said. I mean, you folks, make sure if you're not speaking that you're muted in case there's some background noise, you're not in a quiet place so that we can hear. Renee, that's very, very good. And so here's the thing. If you decide to take on this It Factor campaign, I can tell you right now, you will raise the level of your leadership immeasurably. You truly will. And so what you said is certainly valid. And I say to you, you can raise the level of how you show up on a daily basis. It takes practice. It's not an automatic thing. You get your mind bent around it. You create some language to support it. And it can become a very important part of one of the tools in your arsenal of your tool belt of life, and especially on the playing field of leadership. So Alex, you typically are never let us down. So show me some of that magic when you're talking about, in fact, I'm going to raise the game on you, Alex. I'm going to treat you like you're, yeah, I'm going to treat you like you're Ian. I'm going to raise the game on you. Tell us how you are going to enroll this in your life. I'm assuming you've already accepted it.
Yes. Well, a few things. First of all, integrity really stood out to me. I feel like, trust is one of the most scarce things that that anyone can have, and it's something that you're constantly earning and preserving. So, the integrity piece is, more being known for not, following through on your promises and making promises that you can keep that may even push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but that makes you kind of aspire to have a higher integrity for yourself.
Yes.
And then you understand more that I can do this. The how you leave them feeling was probably the one that really stuck out to me the most. It reminds me of that Maya Angelou quote that no one will remember what you said or what you did, but everyone will remember how you made them feel.
Well said.
So that one, I feel like, you just have to be aware of, your impact and your imprint on people after you're not there anymore.
Well said.
Those were the main ones. Those are the main ones that I took away.
All right, team. I need everybody on this webcast to assume the position. You got to assume the position. That's right. Get in there, Jacob. Don't leave us hanging. Gladys, I can see you. Get those arms up, woman. Thank you. Jacob, that was good. Thanks for getting that. Alex, really, really well said. Really well done. Nicely tailored. Yale, bring us some of that Yale magic, one of those Yaleisms. When you think about
oh my God.
I know. When you
everybody's eyeballs will roll. Anyway, okay, so as I am going to share something with you that I think is meaningful. In my prior life in corporate, I was so supported by so many things, and if I needed something, I could just go to them and get the answer, or get help. There was always help in the casino world because there were so many layers. As I've grown so much in helping to build the RVC world, I've had to accept that the unknown will be expected, and it will happen every day. And I never know what's going to hit me. I don't know what the answer is going to be that's going to come out of my mouth, but got to provide an answer. So I think that if we all accept that the unknown is expected and it's going to happen every day and you're going to be distracted, developing a really strong sense of a flexible strategy. And to your point, Jess, about shifting that perspective, has to happen on the fly. And we can't, the part that I had a problem with early on was I was holding it inside, and it was driving me nuts because I wasn't able to do everything that was expected for the day. So my biggest takeaway from all of this is it's okay to not finish things, but to reprioritize every day and to expect the unknown, and then also to let it go when it starts to get inside here and it builds up. Don't let it build up. That's what I do, and it's hard for me to just let it go. I have to, stay up till midnight to finish all those little things. And so for me, it's a reminder that I have to give myself a break a bit. And after just coming from vacation, I am rejuvenated, and hopefully I'm going to carry that forward and keep my motivations and attitude in a high level.
You will definitely do it because you say you will, because you're Yale, and plus you're only an hour flight from me. I will sneak up on you, sir, and be at your doorstep for a special session. I will do it. Just don't call the police.
I may just show up on your doorstep, my friend. Be careful what you ask for.
Fair enough. So here's the deal, guys. Incredible concept, very powerful. I want you to take a heavy consideration in owning this and finding ways that you can enroll it. I want to roll around my camera's Zoom here and find out very briefly, very quickly, because I want to end the call on time. I want to know what one thing that you will do as a result of learning this new concept. Really quickly, nothing long, very short. Let's start with Kate. What one thing will you do as a result of learning this concept?
All right. Using this concept, what I need to do is give that my attention. My problem is doing all those things if I'm trying to do too many things. So I can't shift my priorities, make you feel good, have great integrity, give this my attention if I'm not fully engaged in this one thing. So I'm going to try to follow all this, but be on that one task at a time.
Well, just know this, Kate, it's a much longer flight to the Carolinas than it is to Reno, Nevada, but I will get on a plane to see you as well. So you will
I've got the cabin ready.
Because I know you can do this. So you can do this. Don't make me get on the plane there, please.
I think it's a good challenge. I mean, this is excellent, but I guess I'm thinking about just different cases while you're saying this and looking at these notes, and that is where I think I don't pull it all off together.
And
I'll do it.
And if you have a challenge, Kate, then you connect with me and I'll help you unravel that knot. So don't sit with it long. Nancy, really quickly, what one thing will you do as a result of just now getting introduced to this concept?
Oh, I'm going to piggyback on Yale and let it go. Get the power of presence. Be here, not in what was or what is or what is, but what could be, but be here right now, what's going on.
I love that. That's huge. Very good. How about you, Lace? Really quickly, take us home.
Okay, when I walk into a room, if I see people groaning, oh shoot, she's here, or if I see them, oh good, she's here, that's where I see my sense of presence.
Very nice. Very nice. That's a good one. Very solid. That's a great way to measure it. I like that. Alex, what do you got for us?
I think the power of presence as well. I feel like, a lot of people say that I don't have charisma and I can't be a leader because I don't have charisma. But to me, I feel like being a leader gives you charisma. So just working more on being that presence for people and having just an impact on them in a leadership way. That's kind of
It's huge. It's huge. No, that's huge. Very good. Amy, what about you really quickly? I know I don't want to keep us too long. I want to be tight. We've got about a minute and a half left.
Presence. I don't have either of those, Lace. I don't get the, oh crap, she's here. Or sometimes I do get the, oh gosh, thank you for being here. But that's what I'm going to work on.
Say one more. You're going to work on the power presence?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay. I like it. How about, let's see, Ian, what are your thoughts?
I would have to kind of agree. Agree with Alex is that the power of presence and being a charismatic leader doesn't mean that you have one kind of personality that you manage everybody with, is that I think everybody responds differently to different ways that you say it. And so you mentioned the platinum, let's treat others how they want to be treated. And so to be charismatic is also to be flexible with how you manage other people's personalities.
Well said. That raises the bar on the quality of communication when you make that work. It's really huge. And all of these interconnected, you're talking about a powerful leadership model. Very good. Renee, really quickly, what are your thoughts? Real quickly, what one thing will you take off to do from this?
I think it's focusing more on the power of urgency, because a lot of times what doesn't seem urgent to me is not necessarily how the other folks, whether it's your employees or your guests, are seeing it. So I think it's learning to use that power that their urgency is bringing to the table, and then use your communication correctly to make that situation work.
Well said. Well said. That's a good one. Very good. Gladys, can you enlighten us with what you like best about this whole SHIP concept, the IT factor, the 5 absolute dynamics?
Yes, I see it happening daily, working in the corporate offices, and especially with Andy.
Yes.
It's given because I can set my structure and set my agenda, but I move with Andy. So I can have my list together, and Andy comes in and his needs take priority.
Right.
But I'm learning, even though I'm shifting my priorities, at the end of the day, there is accomplishments because there's a goal met. And then there is the sense of good feeling when you've done that, because you look at your list and you think, well, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done, but I did accomplish today. And you feel good. You can go home at the end of the day and say, I did get something done. And you come back tomorrow, you tackle your list, and you don't have that feeling of so being overwhelmed as you would, that you would think that you would. So working with Andy it takes such flexibility that you're just moving all the time. So that's my life.
No, well said. And you know what? Yale wanted to finish your sentences on that. He was holding himself back. Just so you know.
Well, first of all, Gladys is one of the most amazing people I've ever seen manage so many things so well. So Gladys, thank you for all of that, because without you, none of this would work. But what I'm taking away from this, Jess, in all seriousness, is the 5 absolute dynamics are all important.
Yes.
And each one of them is something I want to focus on every day, so that my productivity goes up, my sense of value and contribution goes up, and then also really how I leave everybody that I deal with feeling really has trickle down possibility to our customers and our other customers, yes, our employees. So it's important to me, the words I use and the energy I put into the discussions I have with the managers on a daily basis. So, you know, it's really helpful to kind of review those 5 things, those 5 pieces of the absolute dynamics. That's going to make my life easier and hopefully making others easier as well.
Well said. Yeah, that's in fact, because of Yale's wrap up, see the IT factor and the 5 absolute dynamics as your universal playing card. Your universal playing card. You can continually do that checkup from the neck up to see where you stand on that playing card. You may not get it perfect every day. You may, but you will seek to get the majority, if not all of them, done consistently. And that's your universal playing card that lets you play in any playground, field, at any game with anybody. Does that make sense? And that's what we're looking to do as leaders, because we're bouncing off all kinds of characters and personalities all the time. And at the end of the day, like we said on our last call, they always expect of us, all of us as leaders, to be on our A game, even when they're tarnishing or thrashing or beating up or challenging or overwhelming. We always have to remain on our A game. Some of the people that we deal with can have the flexibility of dropping their game down, but that doesn't mean we do it. Use this as a universal playing card to weigh in and check. Am I bringing it? Am I doing it? Am I showing up? Does that make sense? So my challenge to you is this. I want this, depending on your situation, no more than 24 hours and no more than 5 minutes. Everybody on this call, I want a 5 minute, after you give a chance to resonate away from this call, I want you to spend no more than 5 minutes with a quick draft. I'm talking bullet point of how you're going to make this happen in your life. 5 minutes or less. So really just get focused, be on it, and be done with it. You're not being graded. You're not being evaluated. It's for me to see what you're going to do and provide more value back out to the team. Within 24 hours and only 5 minutes. When you're doing it, set a timer. When the timer stops, stop writing or stop writing. And whatever you have at that point is good enough for me. Is that good? Give me a thumbs up if you're in. All right, got it. All right, team, have a great rest of the day where you're at in the different localities. And always a pleasure serving you. I'm looking forward to this. This is getting better and better. Thanks for your participation. And you guys are all awesome. Have a great, great afternoon and evening.
Thank you.
So, Jess, nice sweatshirt.
Yes. How do you guys like? Wait a minute. Before we close the broadcast, let me show you the back of this thing. Look at that.
Oh, look at this, Alicia. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that.
I like that. I want one.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
an old one. No longer valid.
I had to crawl through broken glass to get this.
Oh.
You guys have a great rest of the day.
You too.
All right, bye.
Hey.
Bye now.
Thanks.